Biggest regular season game and for the BCBU rivalry?
Well, I think the atmosphere on Friday is going to make it a pretty special game. I think for us right now, every game is big. And then you're playing BC, so it's obviously a huge game for us. We have a chance to play on a big stage, and we're all going to be excited. And I think we just have to remember that it is a league game and how important that is to us right now.
What was the mood at practice today? Were guys, any guys say anything interesting or have any interesting reactions out there particularly?
It was a more upbeat practice than we practiced again this morning. But I mean, just being outside, being in this atmosphere, I mean, everyone it was a lot of fun playing out there. So I think guys really enjoyed it. You could tell guys were having fun. There's a bunch of it seemed like a bunch of 12-year-olds out there playing outdoor hockey, so it was cool.
Was there any surprise about what it was like outside, whether the way the puck moved, the way things looked when you're shooting, anything like that?
Well, I think, to be honest, I didn't really know what to expect. It was definitely a lot different than playing inside an arena. Certain places you lose the puck, certain sight lines, and the boards bounce a little differently or something like that. But I think that's just something that a lot of guys are trying to get used to today, and I think that's something that is another part of this game on Friday. It's just a completely different atmosphere.
Gentlemen, take your helmets off, please, so we can see you.
Hey. CBU rivalry is something special. One of my great friends in college hockey, former assistant coach of mine, Don Cahoon, is the coach of UMass Amherst, called me up afterwards and said, "Yeah, I heard that you just said it had to be BC or BU, or else you were going to take your ball and go home, Jack. Is that what happened?" And I said, "Yeah, Don, that's exactly what happened." I think that in all probability that Fenway would be crazy not to do this again with different teams, not BC, do it again. Maybe an invite for Vermont and New Hampshire to come down and play against UMass and Northeastern, or maybe it would be Northeastern and BU playing two Western schools or something like that. I think that you could guarantee yourself an attraction here after what's happened this week. People realize it, and the fact that we sold 29,000 seats in 5.5 hours tells you something.
You think it was worth the wait, being the last two national champions and setting the stage for Friday for all these years, 6 years or so?
I think I really think we would have sold it out 6 years ago. BCBU has been a big rivalry for a long, long time. The fact that we just recently won the national championships back to back doesn't make us any less of rivals. I think maybe the non-BCBU people might think it's more interesting that way. I do think that what made it better was the fact that the Bruins played, the fact that there was something here already, the fact that everybody got jacked up about that, and most people could not get into that game. That was an NHL deal, and most of the fans here were Bruins, Flyers, and NHL tickets sold. There weren't a lot of Bostonians here, and now we get the opportunity to have more Bostonians here.